Hey, good evening. Welcome back, everybody. Zazoo Plazz here, also known as Zazoo Plazz, for my weekly Sunday Zazoo report. And today, oh, my lips are frozen. I was singing that song. I heard it yesterday while I was running. I hadn't heard it in a while. It used to be one of my husband's and my dating songs. The one that goes, I would walk 500 miles. You know that one? Great song. And so I'm walking over here from my backyard. It took like 3 times as long as usual because it was like a total sheet of ice. If I had gone an hour or 2 earlier, this wouldn't have been a problem. But apparently, I can't seem to get myself out of here before dark, which I think has something to do with my Mayan astrology type, which I recently discovered. It's blue night. So nighttime apparently is when I get all my inspiration, which explains why I can't seem to, get myself going early in the morning, like some people, some other people. I could get up early and really crank for a couple of days, but it has to be like early in the week, and then by the end of the week, I'm back to doing this. But it has its advantages. It keeps my life from getting boring, and it provides a lot of material from my stories, and it gives me something to always strive toward. And it shows me that I can be just as productive as on a day when I sleep in a little and get extra rest, because that fuels me. It makes me feel, better, and my eating habits are better, and I just move more. I think for me, I need to keep going. If I take, an hour or 2 and sit with my husband on the couch or in the living room and watch and just consume some, things, I feel sluggish and I feel meh, and it takes me 2 days to get back from that. He doesn't understand. Like if I'm watching Jeopardy, I have to be standing up, and then I can, my mind works better when I'm moving. So anyway, are you still with me? So I was on the way over here, and it was like solid sheet of ice. So I used my little camera, the tripod, as a hiking stick, and I went up here, and I'm humming that song, and every footstep was like, and so that was my mantra, and I would walk 500 miles. It's just to do this, I would walk uphill 500 miles, well, maybe not 500, maybe 500 yards in the ice and the cold to deliver my Zazoo report. My husband and I always used to have a fight, or we would fight about trivial things, like there's, before you had the internet in the 90s, we used to listen to songs, and we'd fight about what the lyrics were. And there was this word, haverin. And I'm like, the guys who sing the song, they're Irish, I think. So we used to fight about what it was, haverin. And one of us thought that it was, like heaving, like after you've been drinking and you heaving. And somebody else said it was, haver, like haver, like hovering or something, or like heaver, like, I don't know. Somebody had another idea about what the word meant. And then when I finally looked it up, I was like, haverin. So what does that even mean? What does that haverin to you? So I still don't know. I'm going to look it up later because the song just popped into my mind. And, but, it makes you think, what would you walk 500 miles for? And, fall down and, what, what are you working for? What are you, in the guy in the song, it's kind of a romantic song. It says, that he basically, there's something in your life for which you would go all out. It's your passion, right? Whether it's a person or whether it's a cause or, it's, and something that you want to do until, as long as you possibly can. In the song, if you listen to it, it has a good beat to it. It's probably a good drinking song. Whether you're drinking hot chocolate or whatever. The guys, my husband took the guys out tonight down in the southern part of Connecticut where they go to school because they had important, things to talk about. And so there are a lot of important decisions being made this year. I have one son graduating. He's received probably his first job offer, so he's got to evaluate that. And the younger one is switching colleges for his sophomore year next year, and he's thinking, where does he want to go? Does he want to go on the East Coast, the West Coast? He's got opportunities. And then we're redecorating the whole house eventually. So we spent last night, our big date night, was going out. I had a card, a gift card to a famous coffee shop. So we said, okay, we'll go grab a coffee, a designer coffee, and then we'll go, over to the big box home improvement store and look at washing machines, because I got to replace the one that I'm kind of just slamming the heck out of for a few. So that's what we did. But we noticed that, everybody, we went into the place where the coffee shop was at one end of the plaza, and then they had this popular chicken place that they put in the middle, and everybody's trying to go to the chicken place because it's, but you can only go, and coming off the highway, we had the right of way, and all the people coming from the sides had stop signs, but those people were cutting off the people who had the right of way, so we're like, and everybody's trying to, so my husband said, he and I are a lot alike, he's like, let's just drop the car here and walk. So we were bundled up, so we walked, and it wasn't even more than half a mile, and we walked past the shops, we went, warmed up, got our free coffee. Thanks, MJ, for the gift card. I didn't get to use it for 3 years, 2.5 years, but I finally used it. And it really was nice. I had a cappuccino, a $5 cappuccino, and my husband had a $5, it was like a pistachio kind of coffee. It was kind of cool, it was yummy. But normally, we're not the kind of people who go out and blow $10 on designer coffee. But, if you get a gift card, that's different. We're the kind of people who usually, go to the DD place. It's like my dog in the book. And, grab a plain old coffee, which is very delicious, and, chat and just hang out. It doesn't matter. Or we'll make it at home and we'll take it to go. But, so all these people were, there was one way. You could only go in one direction, and, people were just sitting there, not moving. And the other people were trying to, and it was a big mess. So we said, why don't these people, they're wasting gas, they're getting upset. People were like texting their orders to the coffee place and then, having somebody run up and get it, which is kind of smart. But, why cause yourself more, a little bit of planning and a little bit of walking could save you a lot of hassle, so you got to look at, ways to be out in the world and yet apart from it so that it doesn't stress you the heck out. I can imagine some of those people were probably swearing. They're like, here's my beautiful Saturday night. I'm here with my peeps, my people, and I'm sitting in this, church. So I'm of the tribe of there's got to be a better way. I'm always trying to hack things, and not like the Pinterest hacks. I'm trying to like really, to really hack, you have to get off the screen and you have to go out to the woods. You have to, see, so I'm designing our laundry room and it's like a soup. I'm making split pea soup later. I take a lot of input, but my best inspiration comes from just shutting off everybody's ideas, taking what I know about feng shui, about, and there's a plane, and going above it and saying, never mind what the feng shui experts are telling me. Never mind what's in, because the minute you finish painting, it's going to be out again. You gotta live with it, right? You gotta be doing laundry. Like, what makes my heart sing? And then I thought, well, I could, look at a favorite photo from a vacation or a favorite, have my son draw me a picture or just something the kids made when they were little that lights me up. Take the colors in that, frame it, take the colors and paint that color, I said, look at a picture of myself when I was little and a favorite outfit that I had on or a favorite record album, and take my inspiration from that. So what I find is when I go too much on the beaten path, then I end up wishing that I hadn't. So anyway, that's my, that's for another day. So I'm like reading about it all kind of fits together. It's Aquarius season, right? Aquarius is the water bearer. So it's not a water sign, but yeah, it's an air sign. But the fishing metaphor, Jesus was a Pisces, so they say, but the fishers of men, when Jesus, all the apostles went out in the boats and they threw the nets out and they got more fish than they ever thought they could. I started thinking, I said, it's a metaphor for the internet, especially social media, right? The World Wide Web. What is a fishing net but a web? It's a web, right? It's a web of light, of electricity, of spirits. It's connecting, like fish. Or you could, and I got to thinking, when I was a kid, I had this game. My parents, or somewhere I played this game. Maybe you did too, where they'd put a bunch of fish, and they were just like cardboard fish with little magnets on the back in like a tub. Maybe I played this at like somebody's birthday party, I don't know, growing up in the 70s. And then you had a little fishing rod, right? And it had a magnet on the end, and you had to go and fish to pick up the little fish from the thing. And you had to concentrate, to get the little magnet to center on one of the fish. And sometimes they were turned over. So, you had to kind of figure out how to use one fish to kind of flip over and get another fish. So that was, I always liked games of skill, I can never get, I started playing that, that game that just came out, the game with the 5 squares and you have to guess, I've been doing like 3 or 4 times. The worst I got was 5 times. But I love that there's just one every day, so I can work it into my schedule. So I'm all over that one. You know which one it is. But anyway, I'm not here to promote that. But crossword puzzles, jigsaw puzzles, anything, I'm all over it. So I'm standing here next to this one-way sign, and I'm like, you know, it's kind of got me thinking. There's only one way to go. Once you're on your path, right, it's clear. There's only one way. If you try to go back, you'll know right away it's not the right way to go. You can't go somebody else's way, right? And plus, okay, so the whole metaphor of the Aquarian age, right, is like all the fish together in the tub or in the net, or, you know, and whatever form of social media. And I'm thinking there's something new coming out. I get restless with the old ways. I want to create something new. So I'm creating my Zazoo Plazz community. I got the banner done last week. It's great. I'm going to put it up. And also, I'm using the bird. I've been watching the birds at my little bird feeder. We're almost out of bird seed. We've got to get some more. But yeah, every morning I get up and I see the little birdies. You know, it's a party. And they're all, you know, and we've had all kinds of birds. We've had blue jays, blue jays, couple of cardinals, mostly those little chickadee things. Here in Connecticut, we have a lot of those little chickadees. And what else did I see? A couple of, like, you know, blackbirds, I think, some kind of blackbird, and woodpeckers. And if you notice, all the birds, they're all different kinds of birds, but they get along and they give each other, you know, they take turns eating the feed. Some are on the ground pecking at the birdseed. Some are hanging on, you know, and they hang on different ways. Some of the woodpeckers, they're like, you know, underneath like this, pecking at the seed. And some of the lighter birds, they're like one on each side and hanging on. And the woodpecker kind of goes, and the little ones kind of go, and but the little ones, they kind of flit around on the tree, you know. They make it a game. And then the woodpecker, when he's not on the seeds, he's on the wood, you know, pecking on the tree. So that's interesting. And then last week I looked out and I see this big fat squirrel hanging on from his tail upside down and eating the birdseed. So I'm like, Phoebe, get over here. So she, you know, barked, and I'm like, get away, you bully. Get off my bird feeder. He scurries away finally, the big fat squirrel. So when that happens, right, on social media, sometimes all the little birds are dee, 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 and then this big bully comes on there, and, you know, and I've seen it on my own page. Okay, you know who you are. We're enjoying a nice little and somebody comes and posts something that's just ugly. Fair warning, it's out of here. You post something like that on my page, something that's obscene, that's vulgar, it doesn't belong on my Zazoo page, and it's going to be out of here. So just fair warning. But most of you have been very nice, and thank you for supporting my Zazoo videos and my posts and sharing, and we can all, you know, like the birds, we can all get along, you know, and the squirrels can eat the seed on the ground. There's plenty of food for everybody. See, that's the whole thing. It's not that I don't like squirrels. It's just, if they're scaring the birds away, then it's not good, right? Because the birds take turns, and the squirrels, there's plenty of food for them. You know, I throw out scraps of bread and things, you know. So there's no need to push and shove and try to get yourself, you know, put yourself above anybody else. Nobody says birds are better than squirrels. It's just squirrels, you know, you're bigger, so maybe you know, give the birds a little space. Okay, so I had to get that out there. Yeah, so, you know, and then I got to thinking, you know, it's so sad because I'm spending so much time crafting some of my posts and I enjoy it. But to put it out there and not get responses is kind of like putting out your bird feeder and no birds come. But then again, maybe you put it on the wrong branch. So I keep putting things out here to see what kind, what works. What do the birds go crazy for? Put the feeder on that branch. Keep moving it. And I don't give up. I'm not a giving up kind of person. So I'm going to keep putting these videos out here in the hopes someone will enjoy them. I'm going to keep changing things up, one way. I'm just getting better all the time. And it's true. The more you practice, we all have strengths and weaknesses, so the more things I try, the more I know what works and what doesn't work, and, change it up. So, yeah, I get inspiration. I don't like to be in a position of consuming more than I'm creating. I don't know if you're like this, but I know that I'm overdoing it. If I'm going to bed and the first thing in my mind is in the morning is something that somebody else has, put out there, or I feel like my life is being directed by some guru or some influencer or somebody, right? And I don't mean to be that for anybody. What I do is I spread joy. I hope that some of my ideas will lift you up. I hope to spread some hope in a time where humor and lightness and joy are in kind of short supply. Thank you. And I have lots more where that came from. So I just, need to stoke the fires and keep coming out here and with the moon. The moon is up there. I don't know if you could see the moon tonight, but maybe I could get the moon. See the moon? There's the moon. It's up there. See? To the moon. And yeah, we got snow piles here. We got ice. It's midwinter here in Connecticut. So oh, and the other thing. Okay, so enough with the birds and the fish. So some birds doing some. Well, anyway, like they say, the birds and the beetles. Okay, so for those of you who are, went to college in the 80s, right, you'll relate to this. I got in the mail last week an invitation to my 35th college reunion from Boston College. And I was talking to my husband yesterday. I'm like, I don't know whether I should go, because they're all like, well, give here and get. And I go on and I look at the people who've given money, and there's like nobody from my class. Like, duh, because we're all in the middle. Like, there's the class of 82, the class of 87, and the class of like 92. And we're all in the middle, probably 92, maybe not quite where we are, but certainly 82 and 87. Those of us in our 50s right now, well, maybe 92. Yeah, 92, roughly 85. Our kids are in college. We're in the middle of paying off our mortgages. We're probably at our peak work years where we just, our time, our energy, and our money are, for most of us, pretty tight. And I'm looking at the pictures of the reunion. I'm seeing all these, people from so it starts from like the 60s. My parents were in college. Their classes all the way up to like the 2000s. And I'm like, those are the people who mostly are in the pictures and giving the money, right? The old, my parents' generation with all the money, and the kids who were out maybe, 15 years ago or whatever, not the most recent ones. And I'm like, I'm picturing myself, and I'm like, my ideal reunion would be to have friends, like, that people that I knew. And none of them are probably going because they're, they live out of state. For people to travel and pay for the tickets and go and not see any of their friends would be pointless, right? And then I'm thinking, there's not much to attract people. I'd rather build my own community, my own Zazoo community, and have like a virtual party and get my college friends on there. That would be cool, and just have like a virtual, party in my backyard or something. Yay, BC, And I don't know. I'm thinking, even for me to go to Boston, me and my husband, you still have to, it's 2-hour drive, and then, the expense. And I'm thinking, I'd rather just go somewhere like a nature weekend, go to the beach or go somewhere, get outside. I'm not the kind of person who's going to be like all over the cocktail party, standing around networking, eating little cheese bites and stuff. That's just not real. That's not like, somebody ought to hack these reunion things. They have the ones with the kids when your kids are little, and then they have the ones with all the people with the money standing around. Ooh. But, and then the people are like bragging, oh, I got my sports car outside, I got my big house and I own this company, and that's boring. I love to go and do, stand up and tell Zazoo stories and talk about nostalgia and, make people laugh and have cool music playing and, dancing, cool food. But, I didn't even do that when I was in college, so I don't know. For me to go back and reminisce would be remembering me spending my entire 4 years, for the most part, in the library. Trying to stay in college and keep my scholarship. I was not, although there were some great times that we had. Concerts, the B-52s came. We had toga parties. We had like dress-up Halloween parties. Those were cool times. There's a lot of fun stuff I did with my friends. Taking the tea into the city. We had a lot of cool times. And most of the people I knew were in the business school. So, I would love to reconnect with some of those people and discuss, what are you doing? What's your, professionally, and personally, but mostly professionally. What do people in my class, what did they end up doing versus what did they major in? These are topics I'd love to, but I know that if I go there and it's all going to be just, surface stuff. And that to me is not worth, the money that I'd be paying. So what do you think? Weigh in. Have you ever been to a college? I've never been to one, first of all. But, I guess there's a first time for everything. I like to keep an open mind. So, okay, I guess that's it for this week. These are some of my thoughts. Until next week, stay warm and stay brilliant. And I wish you lots of good health and good times. And next weekend's the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that'll be fun. What are you making? The food. See you next week. Take care.